Welcome to Sleepy Classic Tales. Moby-Dick was published in 1851 and written by Herman Melville. It is one of the most profound and symbolic novels of world literature, exploring obsession, fate, and the vast, indifferent power of the sea. This is our own calm and gently told short version, clear, understandable, and suitable for falling asleep. Part 1. Ishmael Seeks the Sea. The narrator's name is Ishmael. He is a young man who goes to sea whenever life on land begins to feel too narrow. He describes it as an inner pressure that only calms when he sees wide horizons, the open sky, endless water, and the slow, steady rhythm of the waves. Whenever the world on shore feels confining, the sea becomes his refuge. So he decides once again to sign on to a whaling ship. He walks through the gray streets of New Bedford, feeling the cold winter wind, searching for an affordable place to stay for the night. The harbor settlement is rough and simple, but Ishmael feels strangely at home. There is little sound beyond the creaking of ships and the distant cries of seabirds. In a modest inn, he meets a man who will change his life. His name is Queequeg, a harpooner from the South Seas. His body is fully tattooed, his gaze calm and serious. Though his appearance initially seems foreign to Ishmael, he immediately senses a quiet connection. They share a room, speak little, and yet a silent trust forms between them. The next morning they eat breakfast together, and Ishmael realizes that Queequeg is a good man, peaceful, brave, and free of arrogance. They decide to sign on to a whaling ship together. Ishmael and Queequeg find a ship called the Pequod, which is being prepared for a long voyage. It is a solid, heavy vessel, darkly painted and marked by many past journeys. The wooden planks are eaten away by salt, the masts scarred, yet the ship stands like a silent, seasoned warrior. The owners tell them about the captain, Ahab, a man with an impressive and dark past. On a previous voyage, Ahab lost his leg. The whale that took it was a massive white sperm whale whose name is whispered everywhere, Moby-Dick. Ishmael senses that this is no ordinary sailor's tale. It hangs in the air like a warning. Still, the owners assure him that Ahab is an outstanding captain, experienced, fearless, and capable of leading his men safely home. Ishmael signs the contract. Queequeg does as well. Early the next morning, the Pequod casts off. The city slowly fades into the distance as the ship glides into open water. Ishmael stands at the railing and feels everyday life fall away. Ahead lies only the sea, and a journey whose true meaning he does not yet understand. The first days aboard the Pequod are calm. The crew grows accustomed to the routines on deck, the wind in the sails, and the steady creaking of the ship beneath their feet. The sea is cold but peaceful, and Ishmael feels his mind slowly settle. He observes the men traveling with him, seasoned sailors who speak little and smile even less. Each carries his own story, scars and losses, yet at sea these no longer matter. There, everyone becomes part of a greater whole, a machine that must function if the ship is to survive. Queequeg quickly proves why he is considered one of the best harpooners. He moves across the deck with calm confidence, as if he were part of the ship itself. His strength and composure impress Ishmael, and the two grow into a well-coordinated team. Yet, despite the apparent harmony, Ishmael senses a strange tension. It feels as though something, or someone, is missing. The captain is nowhere to be seen. Ahab remains in his cabin day after day, an invisible shadow no one wishes to discuss. Occasionally, heavy footsteps echo across the deck, metallic knocks as if an iron leg were striking the wood. Every sailor recognizes the sound. The silence surrounding Ahab hangs over the ship like a dark cloud. The men act as if everything is normal, yet their glances often drift nervously toward the captain's door, as though waiting for it to open. Ishmael senses that the true beginning of the voyage still lies ahead. Part 2. Captain Ahab and the Oath of the Hunt. Days pass, and the men almost grow used to the captain's absence. Then, one evening, as the wind shifts and the sea grows slightly restless, it happens. The door to the captain's cabin slowly opens. Heavy steps echo across the deck, steady, metallic, commanding. The men turn. Some instinctively hold their breath. Ahab appears. He is tall and gaunt, with a deep scar running across his face. His eyes burn with a dark intensity, as if a fire never goes out behind them. In place of his right leg, he wears a prosthesis carved from the bone of a whale. He does not walk. He stamps. Each step feels like an order directed at the sea itself. The men look at him with respect and fear. Ahab says nothing. He surveys the deck, the crew, and then the vast water stretching before the ship. In that moment, Ishmael knows this man is unlike any other captain. He is not merely a sailor. He is someone fighting something far greater than himself. Many days later, Ahab summons the entire crew. The sea is calm, the sun low, casting an eerie orange glow across the waves. The men gather closely as Ahab steps forward with a rigid expression. Then he delivers a speech no one will ever forget. He does not speak of whaling profits or ordinary labor. He speaks of a single goal: the white whale, Moby-Dick. He describes it as a creature of immense power, larger and more savage than any other, a whale that destroys ships, drags sailors into the depths, and fears no man. He declares that this beast took his leg, that he has hunted it for years, and that he will find it, no matter the cost. Ahab promises a gold coin, a large Spanish doubloon, to the man who first sights the white whale. He nails the coin to the mast where it glints in the evening light. The men stare in silence. Some feel excitement, driven by the thrill of the hunt. Others feel doubt. Every sailor knows that Moby-Dick is no ordinary whale. He is a legend, a shadow, a curse. Ishmael senses the mood aboard the ship shift. It is as if Ahab has cast a spell. From that moment on, the voyage is no longer a typical whaling expedition. It has become a personal war. That night, Ahab and the harpooners swear that they will hunt Moby-Dick, no matter how far the sea carries them, no matter what dangers await. Ahab has a special cup passed among the men, filled with rum. They drink and pledge their loyalty. Only Ishmael, Queequeg, and a few older sailors sense that this oath is something dark, something far beyond a normal hunt. Ahab seems like a man not merely chasing an animal, but his own fate. Ishmael knows that from this moment on, the voyage is no longer in the hands of men, but in the hands of the sea, and of a man consumed by a single idea. Part 3. Across the Open Ocean. The Pequod sails for weeks across the ocean. Life on board is hard but steady. The ship passes through long stretches of calm water and then through storms. Yet the crew is experienced and knows how to endure all conditions. During this time, they encounter other ships. Sailors call these meetings a gam, brief moments when vessels stop to exchange news. At each meeting, Ahab asks only one question: "Have you seen the white whale?" Sometimes other captains shake their heads. Once, sailors tell of a massive whale that smashed a boat like driftwood. Another time, a captain reports that his first mate has been feverishly dreaming since spotting a pale whale and barely speaks. These stories unsettle the men of the Pequod. It feels as though the white whale already follows them like a shadow. As the voyage continues, the atmosphere aboard grows heavier. Sailors are naturally superstitious, and soon each man carries his own interpretation of the strange signs around them. At night, footsteps are heard on deck, though no one is there. The sea sometimes shimmers unnaturally, and some swear they have seen a white shape beneath the surface. Ahab's mood influences the ship like a magnet. He sleeps little, often standing at the bow at night, staring into the distance as if he could summon Moby-Dick through sheer will. The men watch him quietly. Some admire him, others fear him. None dare disobey. Ishmael later describes these weeks as a silent time of anticipation, a phase in which everyone aboard sensed that something great and unavoidable was approaching. One morning, as the sun rises and the sea glows golden, a lookout suddenly cries out from the mast. A spout, large, unusually bright. The men rush on deck, grab their harpoons, prepare the boats. Tension fills the air. But as they draw closer, they see it is only another sperm whale. Large, but ordinary. Ahab rages. He strikes the deck with his prosthetic leg and orders them onward. He does not want whales. He wants the whale. In the days that follow, there are more hints. A massive scar on a passing whale, a damaged whaling boat drifting at sea, a flock of birds suddenly changing direction. Everything feels like traces of a battle fought somewhere out there, signs of an enemy no one fully sees, but everyone feels. As the journey continues, some men begin whispering that Ahab may be leading them to ruin. Some believe the captain is cursed. Others insist it is a sailor's duty to follow his captain wherever he leads. Queequeg remains calm. He watches the men, senses their fear, but trusts the natural order. He knows the sea has its own will and that no one can defeat it, not even Ahab. Ishmael feels both fascination and fear. He admires Ahab's determination, yet he sees how dangerous it is. A man who sees nothing but his goal eventually loses sight of everything else. And so the Pequod sails on, across calm waters, through storms, through nights of glittering stars and nights of total darkness. The voyage continues, and everyone aboard knows they are nearing a point of no return. Part 4. The hunt becomes real. After long months of hints and rumors, the day comes when speculation turns into reality. It is a bright, clear morning. The sea is calm, gentle waves rolling against the hull. A man sits in the masthead as usual. Then, suddenly, his cry pierces the air. "There! A spout! White! Enormous!" The crew awakens instantly. Men rush to the rail, squinting into the light. In the distance rise towering spouts, higher and brighter than normal. Ahab storms from his cabin as if he has been waiting for this very call. One glance is enough. He knows. This is no ordinary whale. This is Moby-Dick. His eyes shine with something Ishmael cannot fully interpret, not simple joy, but a mix of hatred, hope, and fanatical resolve. The boats are prepared, harpoons checked. Every man knows that what begins now goes far beyond ordinary work. They lower the boats and row toward the spouts. But Moby-Dick is unlike any other whale. He dives, reappears elsewhere, sometimes close, then impossibly distant. Several times they seem near enough, only for the whale to turn away at the last moment or vanish into the depths. The men strain, row, shout commands, but Moby-Dick remains unpredictable. Ahab drives them relentlessly. He feels no pain, fatigue, or fear. His entire world has narrowed to that white shape beneath the waves. When they finally return to the Pequod, exhausted at dusk, no one is injured, but no one has succeeded. Moby-Dick is still out there, and now he knows he is being hunted. In the days that follow, a storm rises. Heavy clouds cover the sky, the wind howls, and waves grow tall and violent. The Pequod fights through dark waters, every task on deck becoming a matter of survival. Moby-Dick appears only briefly during this time. Once his massive dorsal fin, another time his white brow breaking through the waves like a pale rock. During one attempt to approach him, a boat is caught in dangerous currents. It capsizes. Men are thrown into the sea, and only with great effort does the crew rescue most of them. One man disappears beneath the waves. His name is lost in the roar of the storm, but his absence remains. The mood aboard shifts again. What once felt like a heavy task now feels like a curse. Ahab seems scarcely affected. He grows quieter, more focused, almost harder. He often stands alone on deck, facing the wind as if challenging the storm itself. Ishmael wonders whether Ahab knows deep inside that this hunt cannot end well. But even if he does, he can no longer turn back. When the storm subsides, the Pequod lies damaged but afloat. The men are exhausted, yet Ahab orders the hunt to continue immediately. Some of the older sailors quietly suggest returning to ordinary whaling, filling barrels, securing their pay, and surviving. None speak aloud. One quiet night, Ahab addresses the crew briefly. He says that a sailor's life is always in danger, that they all knew what the sea demanded, and that there are things greater than fear. For him, Moby-Dick is not merely an animal. He is a symbol of everything that escapes human control: chance, fate, pain, loss. Ahab wants to face that symbol, even if it costs him everything. The men listen, aware that they have gone too far to turn back now. The Pequod sails on. The white whale is somewhere out there, and the next encounter will be inevitable. Part 5. The Final Hunt. The next morning, the sea is unnaturally calm. The sky is clear, the wind almost still. It feels as if the world is holding its breath. Then the lookout cries out, "White spout, starboard ahead!" This time, there is no doubt. The whale is near. Very near. Ahab stands motionless for a moment, as if confirming that what he has awaited for years is truly happening. Then he breaks his stillness and shouts, "To the boats! Now!" No one hesitates. The will of the entire ship seems focused on a single point. The boats are lowered. The men row until their arms burn. Ahab stands at the bow of his boat, harpoon gripped tightly. As they draw closer, Moby-Dick rises from the depths like a living cliff. He is immense, his skin pale and scarred, marked by countless past battles. Ahab shouts a command. The men row harder. The boat creaks, water splashes over the sides. Then comes the moment. Ahab pulls back his arm, aims, exhales, and hurls the harpoon with all his rage, pain, and hope. The shaft whistles through the air, a dull impact, a shout from the men. The harpoon strikes true. Moby-Dick rears up, his massive body bursting from the sea, white in the light. Then he strikes back. A colossal sweep of his tail smashes into Ahab's boat. Wood splinters. Men are thrown into chaos. The sea turns violent and dark. Ahab resurfaces, clinging to a broken piece of wood. His eyes remain fixed on the whale. The remaining boats gather the survivors and row back toward the Pequod, but Moby-Dick follows. He dives, disappears for moments, then charges with full force into the ship's hull. A thunderous crack echoes through the wood. The Pequod shudders. Another strike, and another. The crew screams, tries to plug holes, bail water, but the whale's strength is overwhelming. With each blow, the ship sinks lower. Ahab stands at the stern, shouting in fury and despair. Once more he tries to strike Moby-Dick, hurling a second harpoon. But this time, he misses. In the next instant, the whale crashes through the planks. The Pequod tilts, rolls, and begins to sink. Wood splinters, ropes snap, barrels tumble into the sea. Men jump or are dragged under by the suction. And Ahab? He clings to the line of his own harpoon, embedded in the whale's body. As Moby-Dick dives, Ahab is pulled down with him, into the depths. The sea closes over him as if he had never existed. Among the wreckage of the Pequod, Ishmael floats on a coffin that serves as a life buoy. The sea has calmed. The battle is over. The sun sets, coloring the waves in red and gold. Ishmael lies in silence, surrounded by vastness, accompanied only by the sound of the sea. The next day he is rescued by a passing ship. He is the only survivor of the hunt for Moby-Dick. That was our calm, short version of Moby-Dick by Herman Melville. While listening, you might have wondered what truly drives Captain Ahab. Is it revenge or something deeper? Why Ishmael alone survives, chance or a deliberate choice by the author? And how Melville's own life at sea shaped this monumental story. We explore these questions and more in our companion book, Golden Pages, Volume 1. The link can be found in the description. Good night. And if you like, we'll listen to each other again tomorrow.